So saving, since we're on saving, right? This hot topic of the day. Today's topic is how to save a life from your couch. Sounds weird, right? But you can do it. You definitely can. My guest is Natasha Brown Mincy. She is from the BeTheMatch Foundation and works as a recruiter for the Icla de Silva Foundation on college campuses. Her main focus is to get young, diverse people to swab their mouth and get on the National Bone Marrow Registry. So yeah, I mean, so in all seriousness, I've known Natasha for a few years. My connection with Icla de Silva and BeTheMatch is, and many of you know this story already. So my father passed away in 1987 when I was young, 14, 15 years old. I'm the youngest of three, as you guys know, and he passed from leukemia. And in 1987, leukemia and blood disorders, they didn't really have it figured out.
No.
There's been tremendous progress in research over the last 30 some odd years in that area, and there's something called the National Bone Marrow Donor Registry, and what that registry does is it stores your DNA, and when when hospitals have a patient that have certain types of blood disorders that would benefit from a bone marrow transplant, they're going to run it through the computer somehow and figure out if there's a DNA match that's close enough. My father had a brother from the same parents, and unfortunately, he was not a match. Couldn't do it. I have several friends that have had these types of disorders, and siblings aren't necessarily a match. So it's really, really important for us to have these donors. Natasha, tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit about the registry, just to open up, and then I'll finish my story.
Absolutely. So, like you already said so eloquently, I do work for BeTheMatch a few years now, and we are this nation's largest stem cell and marrow donor registry. Just like you said, we encourage people of every walk of life to try and join the registry to see if possibly their DNA could match a searching patient. So, as you were speaking about your father, which I'm so sorry to hear about, but most patients only have about a 30% chance that they'll match somebody within their own family.
Wow.
So it was not unusual that he did not have the match. It's actually 70% more likely that your match is a complete stranger, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because we're talking about DNA here. But essentially, DNA tells a story about your ethnic background. We've all seen the commercials and for the ancestry and those types of companies. People want to know where they're from, so what do? They give a DNA sample. So they're either spitting in a tube or swabbing a cheek, and that DNA literally tells a story about where you're from. And in order to match a patient, you actually have to have that same story. So it's really, really hard to find a match on a perfect stranger that might live in another part of the country or another part of the world.
Right? Yeah,
I mean,
fascinating.
That could save your life.
Even someone like myself who's been involved for many years, I'm always surprised, and that's why I wanted you to say it when you say that there's a relatively low chance of my sibling being a match for me. I think that may be part of the reason why everybody isn't on the registry, because they might be complacent and thinking that, don't worry about it. I got a brother, I got a sister, I'm 100%. Fine. I have cousins, I have something.
Yes,
it doesn't really work that way. Everybody's DNA is very unique. And like you said, tells not only a history of them, but tells a history of every time point in their family, all the way back to the beginning of time. I mean, I know these ancestries can trace you back.
When we're encouraging students, you mentioned, I go to college campuses. Well, that is what I was doing until COVID-19. And when I'm speaking with these students, and part of the app, which we can get into later, when they fill out the registration, it's asking for their nationality. And I have to remind them, it doesn't stop with mom and dad. Tell me about your grandma and grandpa. Where were your great grandparents from? Because that still makes up your DNA makeup. And people, their minds are blown. What? Oh, like that great grandma I have that's Native American? Yeah, you're part Native American.
Yeah.
It doesn't just stop with mom and dad. It keeps going back. And the further you can go back, that's awesome.
Absolutely makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I got re-engaged with BeTheMatch. I think it was 2014. The BeTheMatch Foundation ran a campaign back then. It was something called 100 and 100. And they wanted you to get on a bike and gather a bunch of your friends and go bike ride 100 miles and raise $100. Okay. So it kind of it kind of motivated me. I've always wanted to do something around, helping to be somebody's cure. And I immediately called them and I said, you know what? I don't ride a bike. Said, but I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and how about I go run 100 miles in 100 days? So instead of getting one day of social media and one day of fundraising, I can give you 100. And I did it, and I created the 100 and 100 hashtag 100 and 100 challenge, and I started running, and I ran 100 miles in 100 days of summer in 2014, and So watching me run is hilarious. First of all, because I'm pretty old and I'm a little chubbier than I used to be. But the only way I can really run is Marine Corps style. So I have my earbuds in my ear at 5:36 a.m. and I'm running and I'm calling cadence throughout the neighborhood.
That's awesome.
So about 30 to 45 days into the 100 days, and I was posting on social media every day about it. The Long Island Herald, our local paper, kind of called me up and they're like, hey, are you the guy that's running through the neighborhood early in the morning, calling Marine Corps cadence? And I'm like, yeah, that would be me. They're like, we want to interview you.
That's awesome.
So did an interview, and I finished my 100 and 100. As a matter of fact, I planned it so that the last 3 miles would be done at the BeTheMatch 5K, which at the time they were doing, this year it was at the South Street Seaport in the city in sometime in the middle of September. So I get out there, and I have my jersey on that a good friend of mine made, and it's hashtag 100 and 100, hashtag BeTheMatch on the front and back. And while we're just kind of warming up and, in the runners area, a woman walks up to me and she says, hey, you're Frank, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, how'd you know? She goes, I've been following you for 100 days. I'm the CEO of the BeTheMatch Foundation.
That's cool.
And and I started talking to her and she's like, the only thing I don't get is what's your connection? Like, what's the deal? And I told her, my father died of leukemia in 1987. And she stopped for a second and she looked kind of like she was thinking. She goes, yeah, 1987. Two bone marrow transplants in 1987.
Wow.
And in 2000, I want to say 2017 or 2018, over 6,500. So my father literally had no shot. The registry now is 35 years older.
Over 22 million people on the registry now.
22 million people on the registry.
That's right.
So many more people have a shot now, but there's a challenge.
Absolutely.
And this is why I have Natasha here today. I'm going to put up a graphic, Natasha, and I want you to talk about it.
Sure. Yes. This is a graphic that I'm very familiar with. And this really just kind of breaks it down for people. Anywhere else in your life, race really shouldn't matter. Whatever your job is, who you're going to marry, what school you're going to go to, who cares what your race is. But actually, when it comes to finding your perfect DNA match, it is all about race. That's all there is. And right now in this country, if you are a blood cancer patient, leukemia patient, IPEX syndrome, sickle cell, any kind of blood disease patient, if you are Caucasian, or what we have on the graphic, it says white, you have a 77% chance that you'll find your match. And that's amazing. I wish your dad had those chances back in the day. We just didn't have the knowledge then, but 77% is great. But if you look down, it has it kind of broken down for you, the different ethnicities. And if you go all the way down to, American Indian or Hispanic Latino, Asian Pacific, you go down to Black or African American, a Black or African American patient right now only has a 23% chance that they'll ever find their match. And the only reason that is because more people of that same ethnic background need to join the registry. It doesn't mean that there aren't people out there that could match. Absolutely, there are. Wow. But if they're not on our registry, we can't find them for you. And if we can't find them for you, we can't save your life. And that's all BeTheMatch is about. I love that you talked about the 100 and 100. BeTheMatch has always been a company that's tried to incorporate community. They like to make it fun. They want to get the word out there, but they want to get you moving and doing things. But mainly BeTheMatch and my company also, Icla de Silva Foundation, we're about saving lives. We need to get out there, get people to join the registry so that they can save your cousin's life or your mom's life or your brother's life or your daughter's life. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do.
So how can I save a life while I'm sitting on my couch? My
Yes.
entire audience is locked down right now, and
So over the last year or two, BeTheMatch has already started to go on more of an electronic, technologically sound way of joining the registry. Because as you mentioned, I do go to different colleges, campuses all across the tri-state area, and normally I would book with a fraternity or a sorority, or like I work with the Binghamton lacrosse team, or New Paltz baseball players, and we would host a huge live event at the school. There's a lot of energy. Kids are coming up. I'm telling them about BeTheMatch, and they would fill out an app on their phone, and then they get to swab their cheek right then and there. Well, I can't really do that right now because for the safety of everyone, campuses are not open. You still can do it. So Frank had mentioned BeTheMatch has something they're doing right now called Couch to Cure. We don't want you to get off your couch. Really, we don't want you to leave your home. We want you to be safe. But while you're home being safe, you still can possibly provide a life-saving cure to someone else. So if you see on the bottom of the screen, I see my friend Frank here has done a great thing. He's got the code scrolling across. The code is IJOINED. There it is. Okay. It's IJOINED. So just IJOINED. And you're going to text it to that phone number, 61474. And within seconds, a link is going to pop up on your phone. And you're just going to click the link and start filling out the app. It literally will take you 2 minutes. If you know yourself, it's not going to take you any time. I used to have competitions at colleges. I'd have a guy and a girl doing it at the same time. Girls won, hands down. They're like, going so fast. Yep. But the great news is, obviously, I can't be in your house with you and give you the swab to swab your cheek. So BeTheMatch will now send you the swab to your house. It's literally like a long Q-tip. It's not flavored. There's nothing crazy. It's just a Q-tip. And all you'll do is swab the inside of your cheek. You're going to put it back in that prepaid envelope and just stick it back in your mailbox. And then you sit and wait. And I just want to be clear. Just because you join the registry, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that you automatically get to donate, because you only will ever get called if you match that one person. There's that one person that's waiting for you out there. So it's not like, you're going to be getting calls every week for all these people. Yeah, I wish. I've been on the registry for years. I haven't matched anybody yet. I'm waiting. So you too. So by joining, you're giving someone a better chance at life, but that's still not a guarantee. You may join and never actually get called. And that's just because you have to match DNA. It's not your blood type. Yep. My husband's O negative, and that's great. He can donate. But as far as this goes, he's been on the registry. He's waiting. He doesn't match.
So here's why I'm continue to be involved. Right.
Yeah.
I'm a little older than the target swabber right now. Let's say just a little bit. Tiny. So right now, 18 to 44, my call to action, everybody who knows me knows me. Morizioism number one is doing something actually means doing something. So my challenge to you right now is I want you to text the word IJOINED, IJOINED to 61474. It's going across the bottom of the screen right now. I want you to text that right now and check it out. If you're eligible, I think it's 2 or 3 things to fill out. Boom, hit the button. The kit's going to hit your house in a few days.
Yes.
Swab, screw it back in, send it back. It's all postage. It's prepaid. You can leave it in your mailbox. You don't have to go to the post office. You don't have to touch anything. Get on the registry.
Get on the registry.
When I started 100 and 100 back in 2014, my whole goal was to be somebody's cure. I knew I was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be me, and I haven't been fortunate enough to be called yet, but one of my runners on my 2016 team was called in 2018 for a gentleman in Canada who needed a transplant desperately. And this one, and this is exactly why, we need the diversity on the registry. My friend is part Filipino and part European. So his parents are mixed. So to find this type of mix is even more rare. I mean, I don't even know, let me go back to the graphic for a second. So it's going to be somewhere in here in the Asian or Pacific Islander, 41% chance of not getting a match. So he was a match, and he stepped up and he donated. And for those of you who may have a conception of what bone marrow donation is like, please tell us, Natasha, it's way different now. It's much less invasive. Tell us how easy it is.
Absolutely. And I tell this to my students all the time. Everyone thinks if I do a presentation, which I do presentations even now still on Zoom to different classes and such, I still am doing that at least. And if I say, how do you think you donate marrow? Almost everyone in the class thinks that someone's getting their spine drilled into.
Yeah.
That's a horrible Hollywood movie situation. There's two ways to donate. The most common way, 80% of the people that actually match a patient, they're going to do something called PBSC, which is peripheral blood stem cell donation. It's just like giving blood. They're going to go into some place that will send them. Also, let me just real quick remind you, BeTheMatch pays for everything. We are never going to ask you to spend a penny to pay for someone else's life. You're saving a life. We got that. We got you on that. So we will pay for all the costs. We're not going to ask you for your credit card, your health insurance card. We got it. So PBSC, you're going to go someplace. You're going to be sitting for a little bit of time. It takes some time. We tell people, bring your laptop, bring some lunch, bring a friend, and they're going to start to take blood out of one arm. It actually travels through this amazing machine that removes your stem cells, because you're not donating blood, you're donating stem cells. It's your healthy cells that this cancer patient needs. So once the machine has removed the amount of stem cells that it needs, which is not that large, it's about 3%, your blood is transferred back into your other arm. So you actually get to leave with your blood. And oh, by the way, you just saved a life. And I promise you, you're not going to be home going, oh, I miss my stem cells. No, nobody here can tell me what their stem cells feel like right now.
Because ours grow back. Right?
Absolutely. Your body regenerates everything in up to 6 weeks. So while they're taking some stem cells, your body's already repurposing and remaking them. Where this blood cancer patient, that's what they don't have. Right. So that's the most common way, real quick. The second way, about 20%. This is a much different situation. It's not going to take a couple hours. It takes about 30, 40 minutes. You'll be under anesthesia, which means you're asleep, and that's good news. And they're going to go ahead and they are going to extract some marrow, but they take it from the side of your hip. You're not getting cut open. You're not going to have a scar. There's nothing like that.
Much less invasive.
It used to be.
Much faster recovery time.
Absolutely.
A lot less to be scared and apprehensive about.
Absolutely. We work with a lot of college athletes. We have something called Get in the Game, right? And we work with I work with the Fordham football players. And like I mentioned, the Binghamton lacrosse team. We work with a lot of college athletes. And we have these athletes that have matched and have gone on to donate. And their season was not ruined. Their scholarship was not done. These things don't happen. Everyone has a friend who told a friend about this horrible way they donated. I'm calling on that.
So what's the point? The point is, we're not doctors, right? Most of us aren't. We're not nurses. Most of us aren't healthcare workers. We can't go out there and physically save a life right now. But if you're sitting on your couch and you text "I joined" to 61474 right now, you can be somebody, either you or somebody you know. So I have a question.
You mentioned earlier, real quick, I just wanted to say, because you use something that I use. You were talking about life insurance, and you said, you've never met someone that slid the check back across the table. Right. I say that to people all the time. I never met anybody that regretted joining the registry. I know many people that wish they could. Maybe they're over the age limit, or maybe they're a cancer survivor and they don't meet the health requirements. But I've never met one single person that said, "Oh, I really wish I didn't join that registry and save that person's life." Never.
Exactly my question, by the way, and it's from someone I believe we know in common, because she's from Long Beach, and she's saying right now, if you're a leukemia survivor, can you get on the registry? Can you be somebody's match? No, you can't.
So there's only a few health requirements or non-requirements, I guess. You really need to be kind of blood cancer, leukemia free your whole life. Never have gone through any kind of chemo or anything yourself. And it's mainly to protect you. BeTheMatch is all about protecting you and our patients. You also have to be HIV and Hep C negative, which for obvious reasons, if you have either of these, you shouldn't be donating. So I'm glad that you're here, whoever you are a leukemia survivor. Yes. But no, you wouldn't be eligible to join the registry.
So a relatively low bar to entry, basically.
Oh, yes.
If you're out there, you can. And guys, I want
you're in good health.
I want to make a special appeal, because I know a lot of my audience are my Marine Corps brothers and sisters, and my veteran community. And here in New York City in particular, a majority of our veteran community fits into these, and I'm going to put it back up again, fits into these ethnic categories that are not necessarily white. So I'm going to challenge you guys. I need you to text "I joined" 61474 right now and get your kit. because I know a lot of you are Hispanic, Latino, Black, African American, Asian, Pacific Islander. I mean, we have the whole mix out there. And here's why you're doing it. It's because you're going to help a cousin, an aunt, a somebody, a relative find a cure, because we really need those people on the registry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, we
and what's really great with this code, you know, I work for Icla Silva and BeTheMatch, and I do get, you know, reports and such every day. So, you know, today, this is our big push together, even though this is a code that I created for other things as well. But today, this is our big push with you, where I could text you tomorrow, Frank, and say, hey, guess what? You know, that little thing we did yesterday, 25 people ordered kits yesterday on the IJOINED code.
25 people better be texting in right now, or else I'm not going to do the show anymore, because if you're not going to take any action, I mean, you certainly don't. It's 70 degrees out and beautiful. You certainly don't want to sit here and look at my mug and hear about these things. So take some action. Let me see if there's any other questions, Natasha, before I let you go. And I have one more call to action. I'm just scrolling through the feed here. Wow, lots of folks on. Thank you. One more call to action, one more ask, and this one has some urgency to it. So the college semester is about to end, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks left. And this is Natasha's main responsibility. She's used to doing daily, weekly, you know, on a regular basis, being on college campuses, doing drives.
Absolutely.
You know, 50 people signing up a day, 100 people, 200 people, whatever the case may be. Well, there's no college right now other than Zoom classes. If you're a college professor, administrator, department head, department chair, or you know someone, could you please introduce me immediately? Because I want to connect that person to Natasha, because she does have some college professors and department chairs that are allowing her to Zoom into their pre-scheduled classes. Spending a few minutes talking just about the things she talked about now, giving them the code, and getting on the registry. So if you have a connection there, please make that connection. Again, my goal here today, as it's been since I started 100 and 100, is I'm going to be somebody's cure. And the more people I can support, by the way, with the work that we've done over the last 6 or 7 years, I don't know how many, but we've raised tens and tens of thousands of dollars. And how much does it cost to get somebody on the registry?
So it actually costs $100 every time someone joins the registry. If they're within that 18 to 44-year-old bracket, BeTheMatch will incur the cost. We don't ask you to spend that, because you know, just the labs and the technicians, it's about $100 every time we add someone to the registry. And if you're over 44, you had asked me this, you know, what if someone's 55 and they're just really passionate about that and they want to join the registry? If they meet the health requirements, they certainly are able to, but at that point they would pay the $100. BeTheMatch is really focusing on this like kind of sweet spot of like, these are the people that are really the eligible donors. These people have the richest marrow. They're going to be able to donate. But it's no cost to you. If you're 18 to 44, it is free to save somebody's life. You're sitting on your couch, you know, pause Netflix for a minute, do this on your phone. It's going to take 2 minutes, and you're never going to feel better than if you knew that, guess what, like someone gets to have their daughter another day. Someone gets to have their dad another day because I joined. Right.
If you know what, and if you're over, again, I'm all about action today. If you're 18 to 44, text, get on the registry, BeTheMatch pays the $100 cost. If you're over 44, you meet the health requirements and the $100 is a challenge, call me, I'll get it covered for you. Okay. Let's get you on the registry. The more people that are there, the better chance we all have of being somebody's cure. And you know, I think this has been this time has been really challenging for BeTheMatch recruiters like Natasha all over the country. It's not just here in New York. I mean, the lockdowns have been everywhere. The college campuses are empty everywhere.
Just to put it in perspective, Frank, you know, normally, like I told you, I get these reports, and on a daily report before all of this, maybe thousands a day. Today, if we get 25 in a day, and that's not New York, I'm talking about the United States.
Yeah, no,
if we get 25 donors in one day, that's our good day now. That's unacceptable. We need to get back to those higher numbers, and this is how we can do it. Thank God for technology. Thank God we have this time. Let's look at the silver lining. Maybe you wouldn't have had time to do this before, but maybe now you have a few minutes. Text, join the registry, swab your cheek, be committed, please.
One more time. Over 22 million people on the registry. But if you fit into one of these ethnic groups, this is your chances of finding a match. Not so good. Not digging.
No.
You know? And I know lots of folks out there in my community are of these ethnically diverse categories. And here I am. I'm making it easy for you. right? I got the code. We'll pick up the cost. 18 to 44 is free. Over 44, get in touch with me. We'll get it paid for. We're going to get you on. So that's my call to action for the day. Natasha, I'm just scrolling through one more second, see if there's any more questions for you. I mean, you did such a great job covering all this. Love it. I mean, this was more, what's the word? More, not complex, but more comprehensive. Yeah, I'm forgetting my words now. More comprehensive than I thought it would be. And as deep as you went on the subject matter, it just became even more easy for us. So the answers were all we expected them to be. Is it invasive? No. Does it cost me anything? No. Do I have to leave the house? No. Does anybody have to touch me? No. I mean, what else can I do for you? The only thing I can't do is I can't swab for you because I'm already on the list.
Same.
I'm already there. I think that's pretty much all I have for you, Natasha. You have anything else you want to get out to us right now?
No, I just want to thank you so much for having me on. And I just want to, hope everyone is well, healthy. Take advantage of this time that you have with your families. I do have a high school senior, so I am in that group of people that are dealing with that. And I'm just trying to find ways to, make this time a little bit better. And like I said, I'm all about trying to find those silver linings. And for anyone out there, this is the shiniest silver lining that there could be. And that's giving another human being another day at life.
I love it. Thanks so much, Natasha. Please come back to me, and I'm going to give an update over time as we get numbers from the potential impact that we had today.
Absolutely.
Natasha, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to stay on with my guests for a little bit longer.
Okay. Thanks, Frank. Thank you. Bye.
All right, folks. Wow, that's exciting. I got to tell you, I didn't think it was going to be that easy. But here, I'm going to leave this. Where are we? I'm going to leave this running across the bottom of the screen right here. Again, the open challenge for the day is text IJOINED, IJOINED, to 61474. Get yourself on the registry, Couch to Cure. If you do it, by the way, please post on Facebook. Use the hashtag Couch to Cure. Tag me in it also, because I mean, it would just make me really happy if you did do that. Like we said ad nauseum today, super easy. Go on the app. Put in your info, the kit shows up in your house, you take the Q-tip, swab it up in your mouth, put it in a tube, boom, put it back in the mailbox, it's gone, you're on the registry, and you have your shot at being somebody's cure.